Are you a beginner in DIY or just saw something you liked? Want to be the star of the show and make your own leather accessories? Well, this is the right place to be, and it will shock you how simple this is to make. In today's session, we'll be crafting a beautifully simple yet elegant leather choker, step by step. This beginner-friendly tutorial will guide you through every phase, from preparation to the final touch. Watch until the end to see me reveal my special technique. You can find a detailed list of tools and materials in the description below. Take a moment to prepare your workspace, clear, clean, and ready for creativity, and let's begin. Don't forget to subscribe and like my video for more content like this. For this choker, I've chosen to work with 2 layers of leather, a thick, glossy base that provides structure and durability, and a softer, matte leather for the top layer to add texture and contrast. However, feel free to use just a single piece of thicker leather if you'd prefer to simplify the process by skipping the gluing and molding steps. Begin by cutting 2 strips of leather according to your neck measurements and design preference. Then, using a beveler tool, trim the edges of the thicker base leather. Smooth and seal the edges with toconole to give it a professional finish. Apply a small amount of toconole along the beveled edges with your finger or a small sponge applicator. Then, using an edge burnisher, gently rub along the edge in a back and forth motion. This process compresses the fibers and gives the leather a sleek, polished finish. Take your time with this step. It really makes a difference in the final look and feel of the choker. Smooth edges give your piece that clean, professional touch right from the beginning. Toconole is a Japanese-made edge and surface burnishing agent that's a favorite among leather crafters for its smooth, clean finish. Unlike traditional gum tragacanth, toconole is water-based, non-toxic, and has a creamy consistency that's easy to apply by hand or with a sponge. It works by sealing and compressing the fibers along the raw edges of your leather, giving them a sleek, professional-looking shine without the need for wax or heat. You can also use it on the flesh side, the rough underside, of leather to smooth it out and prevent fuzzing. Now that your leather pieces are prepped, it's time to bring them together. Apply a thin, even layer of leather adhesive to the back side of the top piece and the front side of the base layer. Be careful not to overdo it. Too much glue can cause slipping or bubbling. Once both surfaces are tacky to the touch, begin joining the layers. Start from the center of the strip and work your way outward toward the ends. This helps ensure symmetry and avoids unwanted creases or misalignment. As you press the layers together, use a pin roller or your fingertips to firmly press down and smooth the leather, encouraging it to begin taking on the natural curve of a choker. If you're only using a single piece of thicker leather, you can skip the gluing process entirely and move straight into shaping. Now, gently form the strip into a circular choker shape. Use slow, intentional movements to mold it into a comfortable curve that will fit the neck. Take your time with this. Leather responds best to patience and a gentle touch. Once the desired shape is formed, set it aside and let the glue cure fully. Drying time may vary depending on the adhesive you use, but it's important that everything is set firmly before moving on to the next step. This stage is essential for establishing the structure of the choker, so don't rush it. Once the glue has fully cured and the 2 layers are securely bonded, it's time to refine the overall shape of your choker. Take your utility knife or leather cutter and carefully round off the corners at both ends. This softens the silhouette and helps the choker sit more comfortably around the neck. You can experiment with different corner styles, rounded, angled, or even pointed, depending on the aesthetic you're going for. After shaping the ends, reach for your beveler tool again. This time, bevel along the full edge of the choker on both the front and back layers. With the layers now joined, this step creates a clean, uniform edge that looks cohesive and intentional. Once beveled, apply toconole once more along the edges and use your edge burnisher to smooth and seal them. This not only polishes the appearance but also protects the edges from wear over time. Don't rush. Well-burnished edges are one of the hallmarks of quality leatherwork. At this point, you can also add decorative elements if you like. I chose to punch a central hole using my rotary punch set and added a metal ring accent to give the choker a bold focal point. Now it's time to prepare and attach the buckle, which will serve as the fastening mechanism for your choker. Start by selecting a buckle that complements your overall design, whether it's sleek and minimal, vintage and ornate, or bold and industrial. Take a piece of leather and measure it against the width of your buckle. The strip should be just narrow enough to slide through the buckle's frame comfortably, but not so loose that it shifts around. Once you've determined the right dimensions, cut the strip to size, leaving a bit of extra length to allow for folding and securing. Next, use your beveler to round and soften the edges of the strip, then apply tokonole and burnish for that smooth, professional finish. This step not only improves the appearance, but also strengthens the edges. Now, locate the center of one end of the strip and punch a hole using your rotary punch. This hole is where the pin of the buckle will rest. Slide the buckle into place by threading the leather through the frame and guiding the pin through the hole you just punched. Ensure the fit is snug. The buckle should feel secure and functional without too much wiggle. Double-check the alignment and make sure the leather folds neatly around the buckle's bar. You can use a drop of glue here to hold the fold in place if you like, or proceed directly to setting it with rivets in the next step. At this stage, the buckle is ready to be attached to the body of the choker. You're getting close to the finish line. Now that the buckle is prepared, it's time to attach the strap to one end of the choker base. This step is where your choker starts to come together as a functional accessory, so take your time to ensure everything is aligned and secure. Start by placing the buckle strap in the position where you want it to sit on the choker. Once you're happy with the placement, use your rotary punch or hole punch tool to create two matching holes, one through the strap and one through the choker itself. Make sure the holes line up cleanly to allow for a smooth rivet installation later. Next, take a moment to round off the outer corners of the strap. You can use a utility knife, a corner cutter, or simply freehand it for a custom finish. This not only gives the strap a more refined and elegant look, but also reduces the chance of sharp corners catching on clothing or skin. Once you've shaped the strap to your liking, flip it over and apply a thin, even layer of leather glue to the underside. Carefully align it with the pre-punched holes on the choker and press it firmly into place. This helps keep the strap from shifting while you prepare to set the rivets. Now it's time to secure everything using your rivet setter and anvil tools. Insert the rivets through the holes, double-check the alignment, and then hammer them in place using steady, even strikes. Depending on your design style, you can use a single central rivet for a minimal look or two rivets for added stability and a more industrial feel. I personally went with 2 silver rivets to match the rest of my hardware. Once the rivets are set, give the strap a gentle tug to ensure everything is firmly attached. With this step complete, your choker now has its fastening mechanism firmly in place, and it's really starting to take shape. Now let's move on to crafting the adjustable strap, the part that will allow the choker to fit different neck sizes comfortably, while maintaining its aesthetic appeal. Start by measuring how long the strap needs to be. This will depend on both your neck measurement and how much adjustability you'd like to include. Generally, it's a good idea to add an extra few centimeters to allow for multiple adjustment holes. Once you've settled on the length, cut a clean, even strip of leather. To ensure durability and strength, especially if your leather is on the thinner side, cut a second strip of the same size and glue it to the back of the first one. This reinforcement prevents stretching or warping over time and gives the strap a more substantial feel. Make sure both strips are aligned edge to edge for a polished finish. Apply a thin, even layer of leather glue to both surfaces. Wait until they become tacky, then press them together firmly. You can use a roller, bone folder, or simply your hands to smooth them out. Let the glued strap dry for several minutes so it bonds securely. Before continuing, double-check the width of the strap. It should slide cleanly through the buckle you've attached earlier, snug enough to hold securely but not so tight that it's difficult to adjust. If needed, trim the edges slightly or bevel them down for a better fit. At this point, your adjustable strap is assembled and beginning to take shape. Next, we'll refine it further by shaping and smoothing the ends. With your adjustable strap now bonded and dried, it's time to refine the edges and shape it into its final polished form. This step may seem small, but it makes a huge difference in the overall finish and comfort of your choker. Begin by using your beveler tool to carefully shave off the sharp edges along both sides of the strap. Work slowly and evenly, allowing the tool to follow the natural curve of the leather. This not only gives the strap a softer, more elegant look, but it also makes it more comfortable to wear, especially around the sensitive neck area. Next, grab your burnishing tool and begin working along the edges. Apply light pressure and use a back and forth motion to heat and compress the leather fibers. For best results, Add a small amount of Tokonole or another edge finishing compound before burnishing. This will help seal the edges and give them that smooth, glossy finish that sets handmade leatherwork apart. Now it's time to add some personality to the strap by shaping the end. You can keep it square for a minimal look, round it off for softness, or do what I've done here. Cut the end into a pointed triangle for a more decorative, refined finish. Use a ruler and a craft knife to ensure symmetry and clean lines. This simple design choice can subtly elevate the look of your entire piece. Once the shaping is complete, go back over the edges one more time with your burnisher and Tokonole to make sure everything is smooth and sealed. Let it dry thoroughly before handling further. This ensures a lasting finish that won't fray or dull over time. This careful attention to detail gives your adjustable strap a clean, professional appearance and completes one of the most important functional parts of your choker. Now it's time to bring everything together by attaching the adjustable strap to the opposite end of your choker. This step completes the fastening mechanism and allows your piece to function as a versatile, wearable accessory. Begin by positioning the strap at the back end of the choker opposite the buckle strap. Take a moment to align it carefully, ensuring the strap lies flat and straight and that it will fit comfortably once wrapped around the neck. Once you're satisfied with the placement, apply a thin but even layer of leather glue to the underside of the strap. Press it firmly into place on the choker base, smoothing out any bubbles or uneven edges with your fingers or a roller. Let the glued piece sit for a few minutes to set and partially dry. This makes it easier to punch through without shifting or misalignment. Next, take your rotary punch set and create 2 evenly spaced holes that go through both the strap and the choker layers beneath it. These holes will be where the rivets go, so make sure they're placed with care. Symmetry and balance here really elevate the final look. Now grab your rivets, anvil, and setter tools. Insert the rivets through the holes, making sure everything is aligned and tight. Use your hammer to set them in place with controlled, firm taps. Depending on your design preference, 1 rivet can offer a clean, minimal aesthetic, while 2 can give the strap added durability and a touch of boldness. I chose sleek silver rivets and matching hardware to maintain a polished, contemporary style. But feel free to experiment with antique brass, matte black, or even colored options to match your overall design vision. To make the strap functional, finish by punching several evenly spaced holes along its length. These adjustment holes will allow for flexibility and fit, making the choker wearable for a variety of neck sizes or styling preferences. You can use a ruler or spacing guide to keep the holes consistent, which adds a professional, tailored touch. Once the strap is secured and adjustable, your choker is almost complete, and it's already starting to look like a beautiful, custom-made piece. To finish off your handmade leather choker with both functionality and finesse, we'll now create and attach a leather stopper. This small detail might seem subtle, but it plays a vital role in keeping the adjustable strap neatly in place while adding a final touch of craftsmanship to the design. Begin by cutting a small strip of leather. This will act as a loop that catches and holds the end of the adjustable strap after it passes through the buckle. The length of this piece should be slightly longer than the width of the choker to allow for clearance and flexibility. It should also be wide enough to look balanced, but not so wide that it distracts from the overall silhouette. Once you've cut your strip, refine the edges by using your beveling tool to round them off. This softens the lines and improves the wearability. Then, take your burnisher and smooth all the edges using Tokonole or your preferred edge finishing compound to seal the fibers and give it a polished, finished appearance. This small step ensures the loop not only functions well, but also looks like an intentional part of your design. Now position the stopper on the inside of the choker, where the adjustable strap naturally rests. Make sure the loop is slightly raised, creating enough space for the strap to slide through comfortably without sagging or pulling too tightly. With everything aligned, use your awl tool to punch small stitching holes through both ends of the stopper and into the base of the choker. Keep the holes evenly spaced for a clean and professional stitch line. Then, using waxed thread and a needle, sew the 2 ends of the stopper securely to the choker. A simple saddle stitch works perfectly here for strength and visual symmetry. Once the stitching is complete, trim any excess thread and carefully burn the tips with a lighter. This melts the wax and prevents the ends from unraveling over time, giving your piece a neat and lasting finish. Take a moment to test the strap, sliding it through the stopper to ensure it moves easily while still holding firmly in place. If it feels too tight or too loose, adjust the stitching or sizing accordingly. And just like that, your choker is now complete, functional, stylish, and fully handcrafted with care. And there you have it. Your handcrafted leather choker is complete and ready to wear or gift. If you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to like and subscribe and share for more leatherworking tips, tricks, and DIY inspiration. Until next time, stay creative and bold.